Yeah.
And the last thing I have is, after the first county farm day, as I recall, one of the major complaints was some people had political advertising on their vehicles. And what are the rules this year?
I would assume that no political campaigning is done on county property.
So,
There wouldn't be any signs, there wouldn't be any, whatever, speeches.
so,
So you cannot put your sign on your hay, right?
I would suggest that you call Wendy at the UNH extension, and she will tell you exactly what the policy is.
does she have it?
Yes.
Does
Unless,
that
I
mean,
told her to have
Commissioner
it.
Solomon, you won't be coming in
I
here
will
with
not be
your
coming in.
moving Democratic billboard that's parked out here? That's on the county property.
On a car?
Yes.
That's on personal, it's on my car, my personal car.
Well, it's my wagon, that's my personal
Oh, okay.
property.
So we can play that game?
No, I'm just asking the question, I don't know
I-
what the
that's-
difference is,
I
and I
have
think
them-
it's very petty. You come up here, it's political season, you do it for nothing, and so I stick a sign on it, what's the big deal? No different than you
It's-
driving your car or you're
it's not-
parking
no,
with
no.
all your Democratic signs.
It's not that, it really wasn't that. It was, I got a call about opening it up to a general political person. And I said, I don't think this is the place for it. And that's when I called Wendy and told her to come up with some sort of a policy on it.
I would
I wasn't referring to, to anything other than, we had this at a recent Albany picnic, and I found it objectionable. And so I said, this is not the place for it.
I would agree, it's not the place for it. And I don't know what you do about a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Well, I would agree that
Would- yeah.
if it's being done in an obnoxious way, it isn't the place for it, but, if you're here and you're.
No, it's one,
Go ahead, finish.
Doing it in, as I recall, Commissioner Kenny, then candidate Kenny was here that day campaigning, and
Campaigning, where?
you were out here, I believe, on
2
the
years
first
ago.
county day. I had my political signs.
I was not campaigning, I was just going around, just say who I am. I'm Asha Kenny, and I'm from Wakefield.
Shaking hands is campaigning to me. Um,
Shaking hands
And
is
it was done
campaigning.
very nicely. I don't have I think it's an opportunity to meet the candidates, the people that are gonna be managing your money, and I don't have an objection to that unless they're sticking stuff in your face and being obnoxious.
yeah, but you
I
don't know
think you
what's
can
gonna happen.
introduce yourself, who you are, you can say your name and introduce yourself to everyone. Maybe you cannot hand out signs or flyers, because everywhere you go, you introduce yourself if you say your name or not.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, well, you can introduce
Ed, you have a
yourself and
comment?
say your name.
Yeah, I have a comment specifically on this, was in Brookfield, it was brought to our attention that one of our residents had complained that somebody permanently or got one of their signs and actually attached it to the property of the town. So we went and made sure that was either okay or not okay, and we found out the ruling is that you cannot permanently affix anything on public buildings. You can hold signs, you can talk, you can greet people, you can do anything you want like that. You can have things on your car, you can have a cart if you want, or a trailer to carry your signs around, but you can't have it permanently affixed on a building.
But
Everything
that's
else
a
is
town,
fine.
that would be your town's policy.
No, that's the state policy. That is political, that's law. That not permanently affixed onto the building. And we found out that signs are supposed to be out of the right-of-way of a road.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if they're on private property, you have to have permission, but it's got to be out of right-of-way. Now, if they can enforce that, I don't know how they're going to do that, but there are those rules set up already.
So
Yes, they-
what you're saying is that you cannot affix anything, is it just a building, or is it any kind of property owned by the state?
A fence owned by a private.
Something,
Town.
a permanent
public-
structure.
Really? There's a pole sign on a pole in Albany.
Is it off the
Pole
right-of-way?
sign on a pole.
No,
Electrical pole wouldn't be.
it's an electrical pole.
Electrical
Because
pole
that's
is
private
state property.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
I do have another.
All right,
It's too nice to be sitting over here.
politics is politics. Go ahead, Ed.
Just two more things. One
Yep.
thing is the Department of Corrections subcommittee on the jail. That presentation by Black Box is on the website now, so you can watch the video.
Okay.
That's good, thank you.
Yes, and also Brookfield is having Old Home Day on August 11th. It starts at 12 o'clock, runs to 6:30 with a dinner, and it's an Antiques Roadshow type of thing. So it's August 11th. You have antiques, you can bring them, and we'll have an
At the
appraisal.
town
there.
hall?
Yes, at the town hall.
Hmm.
That's Brookfield, August 11th. Thank you.
Thank you.
What was your second thing regarding, you just mentioned?
The Department of Corrections Black Box
Oh,
subcommittee
okay,
video.
yeah. Did anything come up at the subcommittee regarding fencing?
That
Yes,
was
we went into
non-public.
non-public session.
Oh, okay.
Over to the jail.
That's security, okay. Anybody else got public input? Yes, Melissa?
Regarding something that I talked about at one of your recent meetings, last month, I believe, when I asked about the procedure for non-public minutes and how they're stored and kept, and
Right.
who can see them and who can't. I'm not sure if you received it, but I sent over an opinion from
Yes.
an article from the
Did you get
local
it?
government
Yeah,
center
still.
that addresses
Did you get
that.
it?
Oh, I think that's something on my desk.
And it says
I
that,
call the local government center, but they say they don't do counties and commissioners, what I find weird. I cannot even call for advice.
no,
They
this
do, like-
this was just a general publication.
But they do-
Anybody can go on their website.
Yeah, but they
and-
do town and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably for the towns and the selectmen.
Well, the right to know law applies to everybody the same. All government boards, whether you're precincts or subcommittees or committees.
So now I didn't get
I
that.
printed off
You
the-
give
for
something
your
about a
advice,
right to
and
know law?
Perhaps if you wanted to pass it on to your legal counsel, or as you maybe consider changing your policy. Basically, what it said is that elected officials do not have permission to go back and read old non-public minutes, and that non-public minutes should be sealed, is essentially what it said. At the very last Q&A at the bottom of it addressed
Do you have
specifically.
it? Do you have it with you?
I didn't bring it, I sent it here.
Because I think
I emailed it here.
that a former board member can go back.
An elected
And
official
that is
can't vote.
according to the Attorney
Then how
General's
do you open up
website.
minutes?
You can't, you're not supposed to go back into non-public minutes. You're
But-
not supposed to be new to a board and be able to go back
Oh,
10
new
years
to
and
a
read
board.
the dirt on someone.
Oh, that's new
what
to a
it's meant
board.
to prevent,
Really?
I got you.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
yes. So I just ask if you might consider, and
That's
certainly,
interesting.
as a reporter, I don't want you to make more things harder to access, but there are certain things that need to be secure, I would think, as a member of the public or.
So,
But the non-public minutes, we approve it and they're sealed, and we only release what needs to be released and what cannot be released.
but
Wait.
what you're saying,
Basically, it
It's
said
stored.
sticking them in a folder isn't keeping
Protection.
them confidential. And
Where,
if you vote to seal them, and then you just put them in a folder, I don't think that's enough.
where are they kept?
They are stored in a lock file cabinet.
Yeah.
So how is it not protected?
But.
That is what the law
The
said.
next commission coming in
Oh, that is what you
has a
mean.
key to the
If,
file cabinet. They can then go in and they can pull out that folder and they can either take it home or they can sit in their office and just,
well,
and
well,
read back about all of the past issues and from, I provided the information to you
That's
to
interesting.
decide how
Yeah.
you want to go forward, if you want to do anything.
but you know, if there
But it
is a issue.
specifically addressed what I had brought up, and so I went home afterwards because you had some good questions and points, and I
Yeah.
did research, and I found that local government center had already published something about it.
very
So
Okay.
I sent it to you, that's it. I don't-
Yeah, but
Good.
you have to know, if
Thank
there
you.
is an issue or an old issue, even if you have a new board is coming in, let's say there's somebody new's coming in, we maybe have to go back to that issue or to all the things, what is going on, if it is ongoing.
It
You
is
see,
not-
this may be sealed, but this is ongoing, so we cannot prevent a new board member and say, you cannot go back, or you didn't know. It even said, if you read the law, you need to bring the board member up to speed, what is going on if you have a new board member.
Well, the document that
That is-
the link to the document I sent addresses that concern as well. So I'll resend it just in case you didn't.
I have it.
Thank you.
I got it, I saw it.
And I had one more question. if I
Go
could.
ahead.
It's regarding Cybertron. Over the past few months, I've been watching, first there was the issue about how the contract was awarded, if it was put out properly to the committee. I mean, it's been this long process. But something that I've noticed as we've moved through, or you have moved through the process, is that there seems to be something else going on. And this is just my opinion, my question, because I noticed that there seems to be tension between Commissioner Kenny and Mr. Rich about, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong. So to ask a specific question, I would just like to know if Commissioner Kenny has ever asked Mr. Rich to do something, perhaps extract information from the computer system or provide her with documents, information out of the system, and he declined to do so. I just think there's more to it than just the contract. And I'd like to know if I'm right. Have you ever asked Mr. Rich to go into the system and pull out emails or search for documents or?
I don't even talk to
And
Mr.
then he
Rich.
refused to do that.
I don't even talk to Mr. Rich, so that is again fabricated stuff. I don't know where you're coming up with.
So you've never asked him to do anything
Why
that he
would I,
found was,
why would I
could not
ask
be
him?
done without a vote of the board?
Why would I ask him anything?
All you have to say is yes or no.
No.
Okay.
Thank you. And earlier, there was talk about having a computer in the commissioner's office.
Right.
And then you asked the question, who would be backing it up every day? Mr. Rich, you asked that question and you kind of made gestures that would indicate that perhaps you don't trust his abilities to back it up.
So
Or
you
do you
see,
have a problem?
well,
with his-
I think
I'm
that.
just trying to read your body
Yeah,
language as
yeah,
the words
okay,
are
but you
coming
see,
out.
that answer your question. I don't even want that he's reading the backup system, so how can I ask him anything for any documentation or emails? So your question doesn't even make any sense.
I'm sorry that it doesn't to you. Thank you.
Yes, Damon?
So regarding the right to know law, and I'm not sure if I interpreted Melissa correctly, but if a vote of the board takes place to open up some old minutes, is that possible, or is it sealed forever and there's no way to access it?
No, they can't go back if you read it, if you
David,
read
you
the
want me to
night
send that
law.
to you as well?
If you could.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make any sense if the board can't access.
Yeah,
Basically,
you
what
can't
it
go
says is
back.
that later on, it requires a full vote of the board to unseal the minutes if they find that it's appropriate at the time to do so.
Right.
And that
Right.
prevents someone from just going in and reading them all.
Individually.
Yeah.
Right, they have
Okay,
to, they have to
okay.
say,
You
okay,
know
we're
what
looking,
is-
we need to unseal everything that had to do with issue A. And then they discuss it as a board, they vote on it as a board, and it says it has to be anonymous, anonymous,
You know-
sorry.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You know what is very strange
Anonymously
you know what is very strange, when an employee was doing the non-public minutes, there was no questions. She was doing the minutes itself, she could read back, she did everything. Now that a commissioner is doing it, that needs to be doing the clerk, suddenly there are all kinds of questions. And a commissioner is elected, an employee not.
I don't see.
Even when we have here legal consultation with an attorney, if you read the law, only the government body needs to be here. That means the 3 commissioners. Numerous times we had an employee here. And if you read the law, the attorney general said, no, only the government body. No employee inside.
but-
If we have legal consultation, if an attorney is coming in.
But the elected board has
But
the
it
right
was
to
ne-
invite anyone into the session that they choose to.
Yeah, but legal consultation, only the 3 commissioners.
It was never brought up at that time. Now it's being brought up.
So now suddenly there's all kinds of questions because Commissioner Kenny's taking the non-public minutes. Now we ask where it was stored and whatever, the same thing. The employee had it in a file there and stored it up and locked. I have it in a file cabinet and stored and locked. Once again, we have a witch hunt on Commissioner Kenny,
Is that the
on
one?
everything.
Is that the one behind your desk where it's being
Which
stored?
one? Yes.
They're locked?
Yeah, I
Oh,
bought
there's a big
I
padlock
bought a
on it.
new big lock and I put it on because
Okay.
there was a break-in in my file cabinet, so I
That's
bought
your
with
story.
my own money a new big lock.
And you have the
So,
only key. And you have the only key.
Yeah, so I don't know who is going in or whatever. I don't know, suddenly there's everything what Commissioner, there's suddenly an issue of makeup stuff. Now we have a new witch hunt going on, Cybertron, suddenly. No,
Okay.
I don't need Cybertron, I don't need them to ask anything. I don't need to read anything what
Any other
Cybertron is
public
doing.
information, public input? Yes, Melissa?
If I could, since that was clearly directed at me.
Yeah.
I assure you that my intent with regarding the non-public minutes was not an attack or a witch hunt on you. I was speaking to the procedure as a county taxpayer, a voter in this county. I also have concerns beyond just being a reporter about the way that things were done. And out of concern for the employees and the protection of the taxpayers, that's why I brought it forward. It has
Did you-
nothing to do with, specifically with you, I don't care.
That you
who
brought
takes the
it,
minutes.
that you also brought it forward when the employee was doing the non-public
It has
minutes.
nothing to do with the employee.
Yeah, but
Nothing.
you see, you need
Or with
to,
you, I was speaking to the procedure. Thank
Okay.
you.
Anybody else got any public input? If not, then we will move into non-public for the purpose of personnel, nursing home. And we will stay in non-public through the hearing. Hopefully, we'll have a hearing.
10:44. Do you I have that recorded?
I'll be right back.
What?
Second.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, so who made
Roll
the
call.
motion? Did
I
you
make
make
a
the
motion.
motion? Okay, second, Commissioner Kenny.
Roll call.
All in favor, roll call, Commissioner Solomon?
Yes, excuse me.
Commissioner Sorensen?
yes,
Commissioner Kenny?
so voted.